And that's the number one way to avoid failure in Zoom, is to remember to record the session. So we're safe there. Hi, everyone. I'm Dave Giberson. For those of you I have not met previously, I'm an old retired instructional design coordinator from Online Learning Pathways. I was the senior instructional designer over there for years. And now I'm just a senior citizen living in northern Idaho. And I've come back to help out a little bit with this unprecedented situation we find ourselves in. I did just mute everyone, just to cut down on background noise, but I've left you with the right to unmute yourselves when you want to ask a question. And that's most of what we'll be doing today. We'll mainly be answering questions about the Online Faculty Certification Program training course. I'll answer any questions I can about that, up to and including showing you how to do one of the assignments. I'd like to start off with a little bit of orientation to the course, so you know how to get started, and of course how to get signed up for it as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'll be doing that most of the day. If you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already done so, I'd appreciate it if you'd go to the chat tool, which you'll find in the Zoom menus at the bottom of your computer screen, or on a mobile device. If you tap the screen and go to the More menu at the bottom of the screen, it should be in there. It's just a simple text chat, and when it comes up at the bottom of the box, there will be a little box that says type message here. If you just type something in there and press enter, we'll all see it. And it will be recorded in the chat log, which you can save later by going to the More menu in the lower right-hand corner, the three little dots, and selecting Save Chat. That will be saved to your local hard drive in a folder called Zoom, which will be located in your default document directory on the PC or the Mac. And if you wouldn't mind in there putting your name and your email address, so I'll have a roster and I'll be able to get back in touch with you if we have questions that are unresolved today. That's always a possibility. So I would appreciate that. I see a lot of you are doing that already, and thank you. Okay, so I'll share my screen. And let me pull my Zoom window out of the way, and here we are in Canvas. And I think before we go here, though, I'm going to show you how to get enrolled in this course in case you are not already and you have questions about that. You can go to our Online Learning Pathways website at www.sdccdonline.net. This is linked to the district homepage and to each of the college and continuing ed homepages as well. But this is our support site. And if you go to instructor resources here, here's the Online Faculty Training Program sign up right on the opening page of the website now. They've brought that out from deep down. We do that with a little trepidation. We used to have it hidden a layer or two back because students will sign up for it from time to time. But we're going to take that chance. Here's the Online Certification Program sign up link. Just click that. You'll go to a form and make sure it says the 2020-2021 Online Faculty Certification Program. It will if you go through this link. And you just fill out a basic, simple form and submit it. And the folks that do this will enroll you in the class as quickly as possible, send you an email welcoming you with directions on how to get started. And that's kind of where we are right now. My wife very kindly bringing me a cup of coffee here. This will help. Some perks to working from home. All right. And when you log into Canvas, you will find the training course itself in a tile that looks like this. And it will clearly say 2020, 2021 certification. You should also find a practice course shell. It will probably be named D-shell and then your first initial and last name. This is a sandbox shell, if you will, in which you are enrolled as the instructor, because some of the things that you'll be asked to demonstrate during the training program will require you to have instructor access to a Canvas shell. In the training shell itself, in the training course itself, you're enrolled as a student. But in the practice course, you are the teacher. And you'll need to go into that practice course from time to time and do something that create something or edit something that requires you to have teacher access. You'll then come back into the training course and notify us that you've done that, and we'll grade it for you. So that's, in a nutshell, basically how the course works. This course, let me click into it, is where all the information is, where the assignments are, where the videos and textual information are stored, and where you are a student. And the training and the practice course is where you will do a lot of the work in modules 5 and 6 in the training course. But you won't use that right away. Okay, so they've simplified this homepage as much as possible to keep things as minimally confusing as they can. There are really only 4 links on the homepage here that you need to worry about. There are some announcements, and the last 3 announcements are automatically displayed at the top of the screen. So most of what you need vis-a-vis announcements will show up here every time you come into the course. But you can read other announcements, if any. There's only 1 so far, by clicking on that link right there, the announcements link. There's a welcome letter, welcoming you to the course, giving you some basic information. There's the deadline. And so on. Not a whole lot there to worry about. The course syllabus gives you more detailed information. You just click on that link, you'll get the full syllabus. I'm not going to go through all of that. It's pretty, we'll be talking about this as we go. But basically, the purpose of this course is twofold. The first, and probably the most important purpose, is to give you a feel for the best practices of online pedagogy. It's a bit different from the pedagogy that you apply in the classroom in some sense, though it's certainly based on that. But there are things that work online that don't work in the classroom and vice versa, and we'll be trying to demonstrate that. Indeed, the primary purpose of this course is to demonstrate good online pedagogy. Everything else is secondary to that. The other purpose, of course, is to make sure that you know how to use Canvas. The nuts and bolts, levers and buttons that you need to be able to operate in order to practically teach using Canvas as your asynchronous resource. That's not to say that Canvas should be the be-all and end-all of your online course. It's an asynchronous resource. The Canvas Learning Management System allows you to provide information to your students asynchronously. That is, in a manner that you don't all have to be online at the same time on their schedule, as well as yours. But you also have synchronous tools like Zoom that can be an integral part of your online course. And I don't mean to, this course doesn't mean to imply that your online teaching has to be fully asynchronous. Indeed, in this day and age, we hope it won't be. We hope you'll make use of things like Zoom, like we're doing right now, with your students. But this course is primarily focused on online pedagogy and on Canvas, and particularly in modules 5 and 6, which constitute probably the lion's share of the time that you'll spend in the course. You'll be learning the nuts and bolts of Canvas, and that's essential, but it's by no means the most important part of the course or the only part of the course. The course is divided into 7 modules, each module containing related information, related assignments, starting with the training orientation and ending with your certification statement, where basically you just say, okay, I've been through the course. I agree that this is important, that's important, and so on as you go through that. And it's just a last set of reminders about the most important takeaways from the course. The modules, of course, are accessed. If we go back to the home page, through the modules tool. You can get to them through the modules link in the course menu, or you can just begin with module 1 by clicking this link right here. So basically, when you start the course, you work your way through these 4 links and then go to this last one that says module 1, and you click on that, and that takes you to the modules list for the course. And here are your 7 modules. Again, each module contains course documents, information that you'll need to read, or videos that you'll need to view to gain the knowledge that you need to satisfy the assignments, which are universally indented so they stand out for you. And each module has a series of assessments, I should say, that you'll have to complete. Those assessments include quizzes, like this one right here, homework assignments, where you'll submit something to us, more often than not, a URL, a web link that you've copied out of your training course to allow us to go into your training, or into your practice course, excuse me, URLs that you've copied out of your practice course to allow us to go into your practice course and grade activities that you've completed in there, and graded discussions where you'll be asked to communicate with your peers and with us and provide certain types of information. And there are assessments in every module. The first 4 modules or first 3 modules are mostly information with a relatively limited number of assessments. Then when you get into module 4, you start to see more and more, and then 5 and 6, you see more and more of the assessments. So this is where the bulk of the work in the course is, the bulk of the assignments are. And as with any Canvas course that's well designed, once you get into the modules, you shouldn't ever wonder about what to do next. You just start at the top and work your way down to the bottom of each module in turn. And one thing that those of you who are in previous iterations of this course will note immediately when you get in is that they're not locking these down anymore. If I go to, or I don't believe they are, let me verify that. If I go to my student view here and go to the modules, I should be able to see them. Yes, Notice I can see all of the well, he said. Well, so much for that. Well, that's unanticipated. They're still locked down. They have cut back on the, you still have to complete one module before beginning the next, but they have cut out a number of the requirements to perform assignments in order, in a lockstep order, that were locking people in place previously. Where they get stuck on one assignment and were having trouble with that assignment and couldn't move forward, skip over that temporarily, you know, ask for help on that assignment, but then skip to another one and work on the next one, and not have to just sit there marking time until they heard back from someone. So they have assured me that they've taken that out. So you will not be in a situation where you get to an assignment and you have questions about it and you can't move forward from there without finishing that assignment. You will be able to jump over and continue without wasting time, which was a huge item of feedback that we got on the last course, and a very legitimate one, I think. So that should no longer be a problem. So you just work your way down through the modules, and when you get to the bottom, there is a certification statement that is basically just a quiz, a survey, really. It's not graded in any way, that asks you for some basic information about your plans for online learning, asks you about things that you do or intend to do. I realize that many of you have never taught an online course before, and that this is coming at you fresh. If you're asked things about what do you do in your online course, well, you just say, this is what I intend to do, as informed by the information that you've gleaned and the knowledge you've gleaned as you've gone through the training course. So most of these are multiple choice questions. A few require you to write something, and you just work your way through this at the end. And this is our assurance that you are aware of various items of information that you need to know, particularly regarding the regulatory environment of distance education in California. And then at the end, there's basically a statement that says, okay, I agree to do this. And everything I've put here is good. And then you submit that, and you don't get a grade for it, but you have to do it. And once you've done everything else and you've accumulated 90% of the points possible, all of these assignments are graded, and you have to basically make an A on the course. You have to get 90% or more of the points in order to get the certification. The good news is each of the quizzes you can take twice, and the assignments you can submit as many times as you need to until you get the grade that you need. So no one ever fails this course. It's just a matter of how long it takes to acquire enough points to get certified. The whole point here is for you to learn and for you to experience an online course, because really no one who's never taken an online course should ever teach one. Everybody should start out as an online student, because it's a very different perspective than the instructor perspective. And it's one that's essential for an instructor to have, so that they have empathy for what their students are going through in an online course. And that's, as much as anything else, what this training course is designed for. So that's just kind of the nickel tour of the training course. And now I would love to take questions. Let me look at the I see some of you have put questions in the chat tool. That's a very good way to start. So let me go over there and take care of those first, and then I'll just open the floor for general questions about this. I would like to stick at least until 4 o'clock to questions about the training course and issues pertaining to it. After that, I always stay around and do general question and answer. And I'll stay here as long as you have questions. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. As long as you stick around, you will get your questions answered. If I can answer them, and if I can't, I'll note them and go get the answer for you, or send you to someone who can. Let's see. Someone is asking about why Canvas has changed their first name. That's a good question. Or were you talking about Zoom?
That was my question.
Hey, April. Oh,
hi,
yes,
Dave.
I see.
Yeah, it's turned me into Malak, and so I don't know. I'm going to have to go into the bowels of my settings or something to find out why that happened.
Check that. You can change that right now.
Okay.
If you go into gallery view in Zoom, it's the easiest way to do it, and find your little square, or your rectangle, I should say. Sorry to the math teachers and the geometry teachers, it is a rectangle. Okay, right click on yourself, and there's a rename option in the menu that comes up. Pardon?
It's great.
Yeah, and then just you can type in the correct thing. I have no idea how that happened. Yeah, I'd check my Zoom settings, but for now you can, there you go, I see you.
Thank you.
You bet. Now, got that one. Somebody said when I went on a few days ago, there was nothing yet available. They turned loose the first 2 modules, I think, on June 18th, but all the modules are available now. But again, you'll have to complete one before you see the next one. If I have a development shell for my classes already, may I use those instead of the one provided for this training? Yeah, sure. I would use the one, well, as long as there's nothing else in there that's going to be confusing or interfere. But generally, when you refer us to your development shell, you do so by copying a URL off the top of the screen here into your clipboard. Right click and copy, or command click and copy on a Mac. And then you submit that URL to us. So as long as that URL points to the right course, you're fine. And indeed, if you were working in the previous year's training course and just didn't finish, your development shell will still be the same one, or your practice shell will still be the same shell. We won't make you a new one and wipe that out. So anything that you've done in that practice shell up to that point will still be there. So you won't have to repeat that work. You'll just have to resubmit it in the new course. So you're not going to lose that effort. Does this mean that we can move through the course at our own pace if the modules are unlocked without waiting for grading? Yes, it does. You can keep moving. We want to provide timely feedback as best we can. But the graders are still involved with finishing up the grading in last term's course, last year's course, which ended up with about 1,030 some people active in it. So we are not going to be able to catch up with the grading in the new course as quickly as we would like. So you do not have to wait for a grade to proceed. If you submit something and you get a grade back later and it's not as good as you'd like, you can always resubmit. Indeed, we'll give you feedback that will suggest what you need to do in order to get full credit for that assignment. And but you don't have to wait for that to move on. I would recommend, if you have a question that is affecting your ability to proceed, like, I'm really not certain I'm doing the right thing at all, can you give me a little feedback? I would send an inbox message to the teachers in this course, all of them, so that every one of us gets it, and whoever picks it up first can answer. You go to compose, under the inbox in Canvas, you go to compose a new message here and select this course. I have so many, it's a little bit of a challenge for me. Come on, Canvas. Let's see, there's the 2020-2021 Online Faculty Certification Program. Select that course. Then for recipients, go to this little, the recipient icon here in the send box, select teachers and all teachers, and send the question. And all of us will see it that way, and we'll get back to you. You'll probably get a reply a lot faster that way, because whoever sees it or whoever has the time first will take care of that. So, but you do not have to wait for the grades to move on. What is the average time needed to complete the course? Well, the party line is 20 to 30 hours. Anybody else want to give some feedback on that? It varies widely, I will say. The world's record is 8 hours over 3 days. You're probably not going to beat that. Somewhere between 20 to 40 hours is probably the most common time. But the 8 hours was pretty much person knowing how to do each assignment already, and just the time it took them to actually do the mechanics of each assignment. Last time they let us take the quizzes over and over again. Has that changed? You have 2 attempts on each of the quizzes. So the first one is a throwaway, but the second one, and the higher grade counts. So there's no, if you do pretty well the first time, there's no risk in taking it the second time. But hopefully the feedback that you get on the questions and things like that will help you do better the second time. And the grades on the quizzes are generally quite high.
Dave?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually took a quiz several times, I'm ashamed to admit. I had trouble with it, and it allowed me to do that.
Was that that wasn't the...
It's the new program, the one that opened up on...
The new program. Oh, well,
yeah.
Perhaps I'm making an incorrect assumption. Let me go look.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but they let me...
Well, that's a very good question. I had not heard that they were going to make that change, so let me look. Go back to my dashboard.
It was in module 2.
This was in module 2. Okay, let me go look.
And
Well, I'll just go look at the quizzes in general here.
Mm.
There's the new one. I have access to the quizzes link, which you don't, so that'll be quick. And there's a relatively small number of quizzes in this course. I'll just pick one at random here and edit it and see what the setting is. I'll be darned. The allow multiple attempts box is checked in the quiz settings, and there's no allowed attempts. So in fact, you can now take the quizzes as often as you like until you get the grade you want. If you think about it, a quiz is really meant more to be a learning experience than an evaluation, or at very least, you'd like it to be both. And each of these quizzes has or most of them have a test bank behind them that selects questions at random. And if you take the quiz enough times that you've answered all the questions in the quiz bank and have finally gotten to the point where you can get them all right, well, you definitely learned something. And that is the whole point of the exercise. And I guess should always be, right? So that's not bad pedagogy, actually. I'm glad to see they've made that change. Thanks for bringing that up, April. Okay. Hi, I completed the Blackboard program in 2016. So you're certified, but can you audit this program? Well, you can certainly take this program, yes. And whether you, I'm not sure exactly what your requirement would be. You certainly, for most of the folks who were previously certified to teach online through Blackboard, early on there was a Canvas transition course that was much smaller and shorter than this course that people could take to satisfy, just basically to certify that they could use Canvas as well as Blackboard. But it left out a lot of the online pedagogy material and so on, because the presumption was you'd already had that in the previous certification course under Blackboard. If you did that Canvas transition course, you're good to go. If you haven't, I don't know what your exact status would be. You'd have to check with your department head or your dean on that and see if is anything else they want you to do. But in any case, any faculty member is welcome to take this course and proceed through it, in whatever manner they feel is appropriate for their situation. So we'd be more than happy to put you in there if we haven't already. Okay, I enrolled back in May or beginning of June. I haven't received the shell or the practice shell yet. Margaret, let me check and look at that.
Okay, thanks.
I promised you I would do that. I'm going to pull this off screen. Oh, there's some grading I was doing earlier in the other course. Let me look and see if you are in there. Fortunately, this one comes up a little faster than the other one did. Not quite as many people in here yet, though there are a lot. No, Margaret, you are not enrolled.
Oh.
How did you sign up?
I got a notification via email, and there was a link, and I clicked on the link for 2021, and I filled out all the information and everything, and I submitted it.
That same form that I showed earlier, then?
Absolutely, yes.
Rats. Okie dokie. Will you send me an email?
I'll go ahead and fill out another one.
Or you can fill that out again, but if you want to short circuit that process, let me put my email in the chat tool. I'll get you in there one way or another.
Okay.
Yeah. The right email in, sorry. Right, I just put that at the bottom of the chat tool. You can copy and paste it out of there, or you can save the chat log, as I showed you earlier, by going to the little More menu in the lower right-hand corner and selecting Save Chat.
I'm on a Mac. I'm on an iPad, so I don't have that capability.
Oh, you're on an iPad?
Yes.
Okay. In
I've
that
got
event,
another computer. I've got one here.
Just jot it down and email me, and I'll make sure you get in there.
Oh, okay. No N. All right.
No N. No, they couldn't afford the N. District was in a budget crisis when I was hired. They could only afford 8 letters.
Okay, I've got it. Thanks.
Yeah. and that caused endless trouble for those of us who were, you know, brought on earlier. And Ardith, I'll check for you too. And I've got another question there. I'll answer in a minute. Ardith, yes, you were in there. How do we confirm that we've been enrolled? Look at your Canvas dashboard when you log in. If you see, where did I put that? Let me go back out to the dashboard here. And I can pull this back over onto the share. Having multiple monitors in Zoom is really handy if you're having to do a lot of Zoom sessions, which I hope you will with your students from home. And you can get second monitors for relatively little money these days, $100 or so. And you can hook them up to laptops or most desktop computers and have two monitors to work with, where you can stage windows off the screen while you're in a Zoom meeting. There, we got that. And it makes it easier to stage things that you want to do later in your meeting. But anyway, here's your Canvas dashboard, or here's a Canvas dashboard. And just look for this tile, the Online Faculty Certification Program 2020-2021, because there are, of course, earlier ones. And if you see that, you're in there. You should also, of course, as I said, see your practice shell, which will be named D-shell and your first initial last name. And that's your sandbox course, your practice shell to use with this training course. So that's how you know if you're in there or not. If I have a development shell for my classes already, may I use that? I think I did mention that. You could, but you're probably better off using the one that they provide for you, because there'll be nothing else in there, and you won't be looking around stuff that's already in there. And if you don't, if the training course is not there, how long should we wait? If you have filled out the form and you haven't yet gotten the tile on your dashboard, give it a couple of days. And if you don't see it, email me and I will make sure you get in there. I'm not seeing my practice shell. Where does it show? It will be on your dashboard. And it will be named as I described. If you don't see that, it's possible somebody forgot to create it. So if you don't see that, you're sure it's not on there, email me and I'll make sure you get a development shell. I can do that in a couple of minutes. Okay, I seem to have gotten to the bottom of the chat tool. Now I'm just going to open it up for, you can continue putting questions in there. I'll go back over there periodically, but you can just unmute yourself and ask a question. We'll just try not to talk over top of one another too much. Whoever backs out first gets the parking lot.
Hi, Dave. I have a question, please.
Very good.
I have my online certification from Blackboard, and since 2005, I have been teaching fully online or on campus online assisted courses. I wonder if this Blackboard certification is recognized as grandfathered into Canvas, or should I go once more through that process of formal recertification? I have been teaching using Canvas at Grossmont since 2016 and
Mm-hmm.
also at Mesa since last summer, not just on-campus classes, but fully online ones. Here I am.
And you've gotten fully online assignments from your
Yes,
department.
yes,
It sounds like you're fine, but I would check with my dean to be sure.
I see. When you say dean, are you referring to my school division dean or the
Yes,
dean
yes,
of online
yes.
services?
No, your school dean,
School dean.
because that's who sets the policies. We merely provide the course.
I see.
And,
Which is wonderful training, no matter the stage we are at. It's wonderful.
And you are certainly welcome in the course as far as we're concerned. But what your exact status is probably going to be determined by your dean. Because as I said earlier, for folks who were previously certified when we were using Blackboard, there was a Canvas transition course that ran for about a year. And if you've taken that and you had the Blackboard certification, you're golden. You're fine. But if you didn't do that Canvas transition course, I'm not sure what your dean is going to require, though it sounds like you're fine. If you're receiving online assignments, you must be fine. I would think you would be fine. But if it were me, I'd want to know, I want that confirmed through my dean so that I don't get a nasty surprise right at the last minute when I'm planning on teaching online in the fall.
Especially as the fall semester will start just 5 weeks from today. Here I am asking because even in our school, this particular transitioning time is not fully clarified, even within our administrative meetings through Zoom. We had pretty much this gray area as a few of my colleagues fall within the same subgroup of those who already have online full certification through the prior platform.
Right.
The teaching experience, yet it looks like something is still pending or expected from us to do. And that's the reason of me being here to learn which are the requirements from online learning pathway.
No, we do not set we don't set those requirements. Your academic deans do.
Good. Thank you.
We merely provide the course. So if your dean is happy, you can be happy.
Thank you for this. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Very good. You bet. Let's see. Here's a good question. Is Zoom going to be part of this course? No, except in terms of what we're doing right now. We will do this periodically where you will have a chance to ask questions about the things that you're seeing in the course, that you're doing in the course. We try to offer one of these every couple of weeks or so at least, so that you can get questions answered in a live forum. Though you're always also welcome to email us with questions. Use that inbox tool in the way I just showed you a few minutes ago. If you have a question about the training course, send it to the instructors, and one of us will get, whoever sees it first will get back to you on that. So you don't have to wait for one of our live sessions, but we will be offering these periodically through Zoom. But other than that, Zoom is not a major part of this course. Zoom is a synchronous tool, of course, though we are, part of the question says I need to learn more about using Zoom asynchronously. Well, Zoom can be used asynchronously in the sense that you can record your Zoom sessions and then put the link to the recordings, put them online, put the link to the recordings in your Canvas course and use Zoom that way. But this course doesn't really deal with that. It deals primarily with the use of Canvas. Let's see, are one of the modules in the training associated on grading or assessment in Canvas? If not, will you be offering a session on grading in Canvas as you did last month? Well, yes, certainly there are exercises in the training course that will focus on creating and grading assessments in Canvas and using the gradebook. But we do offer a synchronous session, kind of like this one, on both on how to create assessments in Canvas, that's one, and grading in Canvas is another. And those are, yes, we will be offering those again. I'm not sure when right off the bat, but let me look it up. A reasonable question. And that's what I'm here to answer. Go to have this in a Google Calendar. Here's today. Got Canvas Analytics tomorrow. Our next online learning open lab is on the 29th of July. That's what, like this, where you can answer any question about anything you like. When is our next grading in Canvas? Here we go. August the 24th, we're doing assessments in Canvas, and August the 28th, doing grading in Canvas. If you feel like you need something that's not being announced, you're always welcome to email me. And since I'm doing most of these sessions, they've given me some flexibility to add sessions in here. We've got 2 or 3, as you can see, we've got 2 or 3 scheduled each week, which leaves a little bit of room to add new ones in. So if it's something you feel very strongly about and you'd like to have sooner because you have an upcoming need for it, let me know, and we'll be as accommodating as we can. Are you going to show us how to edit our videos with Zoom? Not today, probably. Though if you want to stick around, I'll show you something about editing videos. Unfortunately, you can't edit videos with Zoom itself. It requires an external video editor. And I can show you how to do that. Is this orientation required to move forward with the certification? No. It is primarily a forum just to give you a rough idea of how the course is going to work, and then give you a chance to answer questions. But this is no formal part of the certification process. You don't get it. You can get flex credit for it now that we're in July, but it's not part of the certification process. Let's see, if I need help to get back into Canvas, can you help? Certainly. I requested you don't have to request your Canvas shells for your classes. Those are created automatically, and the shells, the live official shells that you're going to be using in the fall are supposed to be available on July the 17th. And that will happen automatically. You don't have to request those. And that's true no matter what format the class is being taught in, though, of course, the vast majority are being taught online. But you don't have to ask for those. Is it best to use the practice shell while learning? You'll use this practice shell for your activities in your training course that require you to be to have instructor status, but you can try other things in there as well. Certainly, that shell is yours to use as you see fit. If you'd like to have a development shell for one or more of the classes that you're actually going to be teaching, you can request those at any time. Those aren't created automatically, but you can request them. by going to the Help menu in Canvas. And at the top of the Help menu is a faculty support hotline. There's the number. It's always available there. And you can just dial that number. The average wait time on that number has dropped to about 5 to 6 minutes, but you probably won't get through immediately unless you call it a really off-peak time. And that's off-peak on the East Coast. Most of the users are still out there. But you may have to wait a little while, but when you get in, you can request blank development shells for your courses that you teach normally, so that you don't have to wait for those live shells to appear on July 17th. You can start working on your course shells as you're taking the training course. You learn something in the training course, there's how to create my syllabus. I can go and do that in my development shell for the courses I'm actually going to teach. And then once you create your course in a development shell, say for English 101 or whatever, when you get your live shells for that course for the fall, you can just copy the contents that you've loaded into the development shell so far into the live shell in a process that takes about 2 minutes, and then proceed from there. So I encourage you, if you would like to get started working on the courses that you're going to teach in the fall, I'd encourage you to get development shells for them right away by calling that number and get started. Do I know what the flex number is for this session? That would probably be in my email. Let me look. It should have been sent out today by Mary Kingsley, I believe, or yesterday. Was sent out yesterday, wasn't it? Sorry, just a second. I'm scrolling through here.
Dave,
Yes.
I may be able to help out. I had the same question this morning, and I emailed Hanue Johnson at Mesa. She's in charge with the Flex, letting her know that the Flex site is down. It's not active. It has an IT glitch. It may not be resolved any moment now.
Oh, thank you.
But we can
I hadn't heard that.
credit. We can get credit based on our signing up in the chat of the Zoom meeting. And after the end of the orientation, if we send an email saying about our participation to this orientation, we will be added to the Flex site, and these 2 hours will be credited to our account.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I notice here in the email that was sent out that there are no Flex numbers. And I'm guessing that it's because, as you said, the Flex site is down and Mary wasn't able to generate them.
There is a big issue for the whole school, as the new fiscal year did not kick in into the system that should connect all these activities that
so
do receive.
Once these Flex numbers are generated, you will be able to go back and award yourself the credit. It's an honor system anyway. You will be able to award yourself the credit. I'm sorry, I hadn't heard. Thanks so much for
no worries. I asked the same question and I got the reply just an hour prior to attending your Zoom activity meeting right now. And I'm glad to be able to share it with everyone else, because all of us would like to receive credit for this participation, yet it's not really possible. But we will be able, if we send an email to the Flex person of our college at City or Miramar or Mesa, letting them know that we did attend this activity. And as soon as the system comes back, they will purge that activity into our specific accounts as faculty receiving credit. We cannot go back in time, but they can do it as they have greater power.
I was going to say, yeah, they have the capability to go in and add you back.
Yes,
so that's wonderful.
They do. They do it on our
All right. Excellent.
Thank you.
So yes, you do get Flex credit for this, 2 hours. And there's another question also, do you get Flex credit for the training course, yes. It's a 20-hour flex credit. So that will go a long way towards satisfying your flex obligation for the year. Okay, that seems to, let me see. Okay, I've got to the bottom of the chat tool again. Somebody else have something. We still got we're making good progress here, but we've got another hour to go. I'll be here as long as you need me. Just unmute yourself, remember.
Dave, it's Randy.
Hey, Randy.
You keep mentioning the date of the 17th of this month for various things. Does that mean
Right.
we shouldn't be doing anything prior to that, or will?
Oh, no. That's the date upon which the Canvas shells that you will use in the fall will appear in your dashboard automatically. But you should not wait until that time to begin working on your courses. That's the purpose of those development shells I was describing. You can request and get those right now and go ahead and start developing your courses in those shells. Indeed, we recommend that you create your Canvas courses in a development shell that no one will ever touch but you. The students will never see it, and PeopleSoft can't screw it up either. It's yours. No one will touch that shell but you. So you can put all of your material in that, all of your course materials, your assessments, everything that you need for your online course in Canvas into that development shell. Set all your due dates and everything. You can create the course in that development shell. And then in a process that takes about 2 minutes per course, you can copy that content from your development shell into your live shell when you're ready to go. Then you have a complete copy of that Canvas course that is safe. No one else will mess with it. And if you have multiple sections of the course that you're teaching in the fall, you can copy that content from the development shell into all of those sections. But you'll have a safe, pristine copy of your course that no students or integration processes with PeopleSoft will ever be able to touch. The problem, the main reason for doing that is that, let's say you get your live shell on July the 17th and you start building your Canvas course in it instead of in a development shell. And somebody somewhere in the bureaucracy looks at it and says, oh my God, that's the wrong CRN, or oh my God, there's something wrong with that course. We have to recreate it. Well, when that happens, and they do that, and they change the CRN, or they recreate the section in PeopleSoft, bang, your Canvas shell suddenly turns into a blank shell again. We can get the information, the stuff that you put into that live shell back, but it's a process that takes some time. And during that time, you're without all that content that you've created in your live shell. And you need to be working. You've got, as somebody said a little while ago, the beginning of fall term is roaring down upon us all of a sudden. So you don't need that kind of interruption. If you work in your development shell first, that can't happen. PeopleSoft can't touch that development shell. But the integration process between PeopleSoft and Canvas can blow away that live shell. And it's happened all too frequently because of not because of problems in Canvas, but because of issues in PeopleSoft. And I wouldn't risk it. I would wait until, a few days before the beginning of fall term, then I'd copy the material from my development shell into my live shell and move forward from there.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
Question I have, can I
Mhm.
export what I've already created when I taught the spring semester into
Yes.
my development shell?
Absolutely.
Because I do have my development shell. I already received it. So
Good.
what I can do is just go ahead and export whatever I want to keep into my development shell, and then that would be secured. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And that's one of those, the next question might be, how do I do that? And that's one of those general processes I'll be happy to show you when we've finished with all the questions about the certification course. So if that's something you have a question about, hold on to it for a minute, but don't forget about it. And I'll show you how to do that. It's really simple. Okay, but how about some more questions about the certification course? If you're working on a particular assignment right now and you have a question about that, I'll be happy to address it. Heck, I'll show you how to do it.
It's me. I thought you could edit through Zoom by recording your demonstration, and then you can correct your
You can edit your captions. The earlier question dealt with editing the video, like
Yes.
trimming the video and things like that.
yes.
That you can't do in Zoom.
Well, they have little scissors.
Or unless they've added that. Let's take a look.
All right.
Let's see. That may be a new feature that's been added since the last time I looked. To get
Dave,
to
I
your
think you can snip. It's either the last part or the front part.
right. That's called trimming.
Trimming, yeah, but I don't know
video.
that you can edit. I'm not sure. I'm just saying that I think.
Let's take a look.
They're for trimming.
To find your Zoom videos, you web to zoom.us, your Zoom recordings. Go to zoom.us, log in. I'm already logged in. And go to recordings. And let's just pick one. Let's see. All right, we can go to the video screen itself. Your attendees, if any, are notified. Yes, indeedy. Set playback range. Right, got it. So you can ease in here and trim the beginning of the video off. It doesn't actually change the original video. You can always come back and undo this. And what was there will not be deleted, but it won't be played back when somebody plays the recording. So look at that. There is a little trim there. I had not seen that before. So you can trim off little bits of the beginning and end. And then save that.
But you can't put two together then.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. That's that requires an actual video editor. And we do have
what do you recommend there?
Pardon?
What do you recommend?
For a video editor?
Mm-hmm.
For general purpose video editing of just about anything, I would definitely recommend Camtasia.
Okay.
It's a powerful enough editor that it will edit just about anything. Yet it's a lot easier to learn than something like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere or some of the professional video editors. But it'll do anything that one of us would ever need to do. The problem with Camtasia is that there's no site license for it at the district, and an individual license runs an educator $169. It is a one-time license. You don't have to pay that again. It's not a subscription. but that's some serious change. It is a tremendous video editor, though. It's the one I use almost exclusively. And I've got access to other editors, but it's the best one I know. If you're making screencasts, screen recordings for your students, if you get the paid version of Screencast-O-Matic, the online screencasting tool that costs a whole $20 a year, it does have a basic video editor in it that you can use that will do probably most everything you'd ever want to do, like sticking two videos together or inserting a video in between two others or something like that. It has considerable capability. But if you really want to get into editing your videos effectively, you need something like Camtasia. Or there are a number of free video editors, open source video editors that you can download and use, but they tend to be focused more on the video professional than on the casual video editor like me. So Camtasia is much, much, much easier to use than any of those. Unfortunately, it's not free. And we do offer a class in editing video with Camtasia, which will be on the schedule upcoming. So happy to show you how to do that. All right, I'll repeat again. Anybody have a question about the training course, or are you happy with what's going on so far? Nobody's stuck on an assignment or something like that? I want to make sure those questions get answered first, then I'll answer anything.
Hi,
I
Dave.
haven't even done any of this, so I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, we'll do this again. You'll have another chance to ask, or you can always email me and ask that question. Don't sit there and spin your wheels on a question. If you work on it for half an hour and you're not getting anywhere, fire off an email and I'll get back to you. I don't want to see any, I really hate to hear people saying, oh my God, I worked on this for 10 hours and I didn't get anywhere. No, don't do that. Send the email, move on to the next one, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. Don't want to see anybody wasting their time because I know how precious it is right now.
Dave, also is
Yes.
that number you gave out earlier, the 844-612 blah, 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 is that also another way to get help by calling that
Yes.
number?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. I should have mentioned that at the time. That is a general faculty support number. It is staffed by people who know Canvas inside and out. They're employed by the company that makes Canvas and Structure. And we've had generally very good feedback about the help that people have gotten there. You may have to wait a few minutes to get through, but they will fix you up.
Thank you.
And they'll be awake at 2 o'clock in the morning and will be answering. I will not, but I'll get back to you the next day.
So it's okay to go ahead and get a hold of you during normal hours if possible. And then if we get in a pinch, we can call the 844 number, huh?
Yeah, try everything. Don't wait around. But absolutely, and you can obviously you can email me at any time. And but normally, at my age and advanced state of decrepitude, I'm gone about 9 o'clock and not back up and running until at least 10 o'clock today. I'm not functional until I've had my 2 cups of coffee in the morning. So, and I'm doing 10 hours a week of support. So, you know, it may be a little while before I actually get down to it, but I will get back to you. And I'll do my best to help you out. So worst case scenario, it shouldn't take you more than a day or so to get some help.
Thank you.
You bet. Ardith?
Yeah, I have another question. Now,
Good.
if I wanted to do a demonstration and record it and then go back and talk about my demonstration, can I do that through Zoom?
Absolutely. That's basically what I'm doing right now.
I mean, I would I'd do like a painting and then I would finish that and then I'd have to play it again through Zoom to record over it.
Well, why not just, before you do it, fire up a Zoom meeting and do it from within there. No point having to go back through, if I'm
I know,
understanding.
but the thing is it's difficult to talk and do the painting at the same time. It'd be easier to paint and then go back and talk about it.
And do a voiceover later.
Yeah, yes.
I see what you mean. Yes, you could do that. You would still have to record yourself doing the painting originally
Yeah.
without sound, which you could do in Zoom.
Okay,
All right.
yeah.
And just turn your microphone off and just do it, but record.
Right.
Then that video will either get saved to the Zoom cloud or to your local hard drive.
Mhm.
And either way, you should be able to find it and bring it up on the screen and play it back later
Right.
without the sound, with no sound. But you could then fire off a Zoom meeting or start up a Zoom meeting. Doesn't have to have anybody else in it, just you. And play that video and talk about it and record that as well. That will give you a second Zoom video that has the video of you doing the painting and the audio of you describing it.
Okay.
And a lot of people prefer to do that's basically screencasting, where you're recording your computer screen and talking about it. A lot of people prefer to do screencasting that way. They go through the video part first
Right.
and just show whatever they want to show without narration, and then take that and then record the narration later. And
Right.
that works fine. Absolutely, that should work fine.
Edit the captions.
And then edit the captions, right.
Okay.
You should always take a close look at your captions.
Yes.
But if they are essentially correct, with no major omissions or misidentifications of words, I'll be quite honest with you, I don't edit them. I don't edit captions solely to put in caps and periods and things like that. In the 2.7 video assignment in the training course, we require you to do that to ensure that you know how. But when I'm doing a Zoom meeting like this one that runs 2 or 3 hours, I don't go back and edit those captions. I look at them to make sure they're essentially correct, but I don't go back and try to make them pretty. That would take on average, editing captions on a video requires 2 to 5 times the runtime of the video. So for a 2-hour video, it would take probably 4 extra hours or more of time to clean those captions up, and that's just not practical.
Yeah.
So as long as you look at the captions and they appear to be substantially correct, you move on to making the next video.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I do anyway. Okay. All righty. How about another question? Wow, these things are usually a feeding frenzy of questions. Everybody must really understand this.
Hi, Dave. I'm the one who
Yes.
I can't get into Canvas. I was able to get in a while back before with just my birthday, and ever since then I haven't been able to do so. I tried again during this session, and I think I have to wait a half an hour or
Well,
something to reset the
in order not to compromise sensitive information like your birth date, how long have you been using that thumbnail image? We all do that. Yeah.
Well, you know
Why
how
don't you,
the
if
very
you eat,
first sorry.
I'm sorry.
You know how the very first time you can put in your birth date?
Right.
But ever since then, I have not been able to get back in.
Well, your password's not changed unless you change it.
I
But
don't
sounds
recall.
like what we need to do, just the quick thing to do is not to worry about what happened, just to go ahead and reset it for you. So if
Okay.
you'll send me an email
Okay.
along with your birth date and your PeopleSoft ID number,
Okay.
I'll just go in and reset your password to your birth date and verify that it works.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
But I don't want to do that in a public forum because I want your login to be secure.
Absolutely.
And as I say, I don't want to expose sensitive information.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You are certainly welcome. And again, I can't say it enough. You're always welcome to email me. I'll help out.
I'm here again. Me again.
Hey, Ernest.
Okay. I have a PowerPoint presentation that records. Can I do a recording in the PowerPoint presentation and then Zoom it?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, I
Remember,
haven't done
Zoom,
any of that stuff.
if you share your screen,
Right.
Zoom will record everything that shows up on your screen.
All right.
So whatever you see on your monitor and whatever you say will be part of the recording. So you can always do that.
I didn't realize I wasn't on.
Zoom is just, it's the single best multimedia tool I've ever seen. And I've been playing around with multimedia tools since the 1980s. And it is marvelous. You can do so many different things with it. I mean, it was originally designed for us to have live meetings like this. But by using the recording capability in Zoom, you can use it to create very sophisticated instructional videos that include both live video, motion video like this, and screen recordings, screencasting. And you can swap back and forth between the two just by sharing your screen and then stopping the share and so on. Speaking of which, I'll stop my share. I'm not sharing anything in particular there. And you can record all of that, put it online quite easily and for free. And then just by providing the link to your students in Canvas or in an email or whatever to that recording, you can just do marvelous instructional videos with, you know, learning curve is a whole lot flatter than the coronavirus case curve in San Diego right now, that's for sure, or the one up here in Idaho. And, you know, it just, there's no, the amount of learning time is minimal compared to what it used to be. And the cost is free because you get these Zoom accounts for free from the state. And hosting sites like the Zoom Cloud come with it, or YouTube is free to everyone to host video. So things when I first got started in creating online instructional video in the early 1990s, these things cost a lot of money. I mean, the school had to subsidize the cost. And the tools were clunky, hard to use, and they were expensive and so on. And now here, everything is free. It's just astounding. And with Zoom, you can do so many things that we used to have we used to have 2 or 3 different tools to do the things that Zoom can do now. And even if you have to pay for it, Zoom's like $15 a month. You know, it's about what you pay for HBO.
Hey, Dave?
Yes, Randy.
Speaking of that Zoom, that first paid platform they've got, as you just said, about $15. When you sign up for that, if you do, is that on a annual basis, a month to month, or how long a time minimum do you have to sign up for at paid $15?
You can do it month by month,
Oh,
or if you sign up for the year, you get a little break on the price.
okay.
But there's no need for you to do that.
Well, let me explain,
Those-
if I may. I'm going to be doing
Yeah.
a class. I'm going to be doing a class that's going to be about 3 hours plus each week. And so if I stay at the bottom level, every 40 minutes, I'm going to have to tell the students, oh, redo it, and we have to go again.
Oh, no. The free Zoom account that you can get from conferzoom.org is a
Yes, sir.
that's a pro account. It does not have the 40-minute time limit on the meetings.
On the free one, we don't.
Well, it's free to you. The state chancellor's office is paying for it.
Oh, okay. I was mistaken. I thought it was.
Oh,
40
it's
minutes.
a paid account. It's a paid
I'm gonna have
pro account.
All right, but I'm going to have about 30 students on there at one given time. Does that change anything?
You can have up to 300.
So I can go in there for free, carry 30 students, and go 3 straight hours without a problem.
You have to go to-
And it won't cost you a cent.
Really? Thank you.
Yes.
You
have
bet.
to-
Now you know how to get that account, right?
No, I haven't done it yet. No.
Okay. Sharing
I'm still
screen.
trying to get into Zoom.
Okay. Well, you can create yourself a free account at Zoom, at zoom.us, and that does have that limit. But to get that free Zoom account that the governor is going to pay for, you just web to conferzoom.org. And that's a Z, not an S. Jeez. Conferzoom.org. Let me put that in the chat tool. And just put that in the address line of your web browser and press enter or return. You get to this website, conferzoom.org. There's a sign up button in the lower left-hand corner. Click on that and just fill in this form real quick. First name, last name, email. You got to use your district email, your EDU email, or they won't give it to you. That's your ticket to the free account. Your organization is just your college or your continuing education division. Your classification is administrator, staff, or faculty. Doesn't matter which one you are, you can get the account. The title, adjunct, assistant professor, full professor of chemistry, or whatever it is. A phone number where they can reach you, preferably a cell phone number because they sometimes use text messaging. And then just click sign up. Within anywhere from a few hours to a few days, depending on how busy they are at the time, you'll get an email back from them saying that your account has been created and giving you the information you need to access it. When you get that, you have Zoom, full access to Zoom. It's just like the account I'm using right now. You can have unlimited meetings. Those meetings can, in any individual meeting, can be as long as you like. You can have up to 300 attendees in the meeting. Just don't tell the administration that, God almighty. Next thing you know, our class sizes will be in 3 digits. And but Zoom won't stop you from doing that. Think of it as a tiered lecture hall in a giant university.
Thank you for the information. Because I was going to go ahead and get into that paid one unknowingly.
Oh no! Don't waste your money. This is
All right,
the
thank
same
you.
account you'd get, and the state chancellor's office is more than happy to pay for it. Okay, thank you for asking that question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anybody? We're all about questions. April, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I have a question about closed captioning. I've
Yes.
said previously that the English comes out great, the Spanish comes out as gibberish. Well, I teach in 2 languages, so if I push record, that means it'll come out pretty in English, but gibberish in Spanish. So what do I do with the student who's hearing?
Actually, Spanish is one of the about a dozen languages that YouTube will do automatic captioning in. And are you talking about Zoom or about YouTube?
Talking about Zoom recordings and what will happen when I'm teaching in 2 languages, because typically I will teach in Spanish.
Right, but
I'll have
I
to go into
understand.
English to explain
I
something.
understand that, but where are you going to put the recording? You're going to put it in the Zoom cloud or on YouTube?
Cloud.
Zoom cloud, yeah, the Zoom cloud, as far as I know, is English only. In terms of the automatic captioning.
Mhm.
So I would say, and if you're mixing English and Spanish in the same video, then you're going to have some editing to do because YouTube can't swap back and forth between the two. But if you do a video that's exclusively in Spanish, you can set the video for that language when you first upload it to YouTube to Spanish, and it will do the automatic captions in Spanish. And there are about a dozen other languages that that's true for. But yeah, that switching back and forth between the 2 languages in the middle of the same video, you're going to have some caption editing to do, I'm afraid.
Thank you.
It hasn't quite gotten to the point where it can automatically detect the language and switch the speech recognition from language to language. Yeah, that is an issue. So you probably want to keep those videos as short as you possibly can. Great question. How about some more? About anything at this point, any technical issue or other issue that I might be able to help with, fire away. If I don't know anything about it, I know how to say that. Yes. Hey, Arda.
Hi. On my phone, I got those little apps for Canvas, and
Great.
you said that I needed to contact you to get a sandbox something shell to be able to use it.
Well, you don't have to have a special shell to use those mobile apps. They just give you access to the same stuff that your computer gives you access to in Canvas. The
So
same
right
courses
now,
will
I
show
should be
up.
able to get into Canvas with my app on my phone, right?
Yeah, all you need is, you do have to tell the app what your institution is when you
Okay.
first are going in, and that will be the San Diego Community College District.
So,
Because of course there's one Canvas system for the whole district.
so I'm going in right now as a student, right?
Well, there's a student app and a teacher app.
Right.
So depends on which one you're using.
For this class. For this class.
If you want to access, say, your training course as a student, you'd use the student app.
Okay.
If you're accessing your practice course, say, or one of your live courses where you're the teacher, you'd use the teacher app.
Okay.
And they both work fine. Your login credentials will be the same as they would be if you use your computer.
Okay.
And if you want a little bit more background on that, let me share my screen. Yep, got the wrong one. There we go. You can go to, whoop, that's not the one. sdccdolvid.org. Let me put that in the chat tool. This is our on-demand video site, our tutorial site, where all our video, all of our Canvas and Zoom and other instructional tutorials are loaded. I just put that in the chat tool. And let's see, this is actually the, sorry about that, that's the administrative interface. I was adding another tutorial just before we started today. There are hundreds of tutorials on this site on a wide variety of topics. Like we had questions about getting started on Zoom a little while ago. We have a full set of Zoom tutorials that you can access through that home page there. There's a little slideshow on the home page that shows some of the featured tutorials, and that one right there, the first one that pops up right now, Educating on Zoom, takes you to a series of video tutorials on how to the basic use of Zoom. Everything from getting your account to, like I just showed you, to dealing with somebody who tries to break into a Zoom session, which happens very rarely, but we put that in there. All of that is right there. You can just find it in one place. We have a similar set of tutorials for Canvas, which come up next here. If I wait a second, or if I just flip forward. This is a set of tutorials for people who are just getting started with Canvas. And some of the things that you do in the training course, for instance, are covered in these tutorials. But it's everything from getting into Canvas to creating assessments in Canvas, basic stuff. And these tutorials are all available. And you can just access it if you want to know how to add content to your Canvas course. There it is. The most of them are between 5 and 7 minutes long. This is a bigger topic, so I think this one's 17 minutes. But all the others are well under 10 minutes. And so in a total of a couple hours, you can run through everything I know about Canvas anyway. Well, you can get a lot of information about Canvas. But we also have on this site the recordings of all the workshops we're doing, like this one. This one will be up there shortly, that you can access through this button at the top of the screen that says Workshop Archives. And let's see how up to date I am. There's one from June 30th, which is almost the last one I've done. Basically this same session, question and answer session about the training course. It ran for a couple hours or 3. But here's, somebody had a question about grading in Canvas. Well, here it is. Here's the last time we did the Canvas on grading, the session on grading in Canvas. Adding video, just there are 8 pages, a dozen tutorials a page of, or a dozen videos a page of Zoom sessions that we have done over the last 5-6 years. Most of them from the last 6 months or so. So you can always get back to these recordings. And if you want to know about, for instance, about Ardith, what we were just talking about, I'm sorry.
About those apps on Canvas for my phone.
Oh, right. Thank you. The student apps, the mobile apps.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a little while since we've done that one. So you can either just keep working your way back here. Let's see. I'm not gonna, there it is. From May the 6th, mobile apps for Canvas.
Okay.
There I went over and I showed using both the student and the teacher app.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So that sort of information is usually available here in our workshop archives. And those are available 24/7, 365. You can play them anytime you like.
Okay.
Dave, one last time, getting back to the conferzoom.org thing, do
Right.
you feel that somebody that's got limited computer experience could go in there and create their own account without a problem? A Zoom
Well,
account?
you don't have to create the account. All you have to do is request it. The folks at Confer Zoom or over at Palomar College will create it for you and send you the information you need to access it.
Okay.
So all you have to be able to do is fill out that form I showed you,
Okay.
and they'll get it to you. Then when you get into this question, okay, now how do I use it once I have it? That's where this thing comes in, this Zoom Basics thing here.
Yes, sir. You sent me a link to that the other day at my request, and that thing is really informational. It's really good.
Oh, thank you. I tried to cover everything that you needed to know, but nothing that you could do without starting out. We have more Zoom tutorials than this on detailed things that come up, but those are usually pretty easy to figure out once you get the basics down. And this is just the basics. And most of these, and it's not going to take that long to go through, but just start at the top. Think of it as a module for Zoom. And here's how to get that account right there, starting with. So I tried not to make any assumptions, but as we all know, any instructional material comes with underlying assumptions, no matter how hard we try to avoid them. So if I have left out something that seemed obvious to me that is not obvious to you, which is inevitable, I'm afraid, please just email me and I'll take care of that.
Dave, can we make Zoom sound louder?
Okay, let me make sure I make the sound louder. Do you mean your recorded voice? Or are you talking about the playback?
My voice is not sound so loud, and I hear you, but not so loud.
Oh, you're not hearing me as loud as you would like to, or as well as you would like to. Let me check and see here. Yeah, I seem to be recording reasonably well, but let me check my audio settings here in Zoom. Let me see. Yes, I am sharing my screen. By the way, if I ever start talking about something, like I'm assuming you're seeing something that I'm seeing and you can't see it, please let me know. It's very easy in Zoom to forget whether you're sharing your screen with your attendees or not. And I don't want to confuse you that way. But here, I can go, there's a little menu button right next to the mute button down here.
Yeah.
In the lower left. And if I click that up caret, I can go to an audio settings menu.
Yes.
All right. And here you can change your volume settings, both for input level and output level. Output level being your speakers, and input level being the sensitivity of your microphone. So I can make mine.
Okay.
Pardon?
Hi.
I'm sorry? So you can increase your speaker volume right here by just grabbing the little dot and moving it out, and that would make me hear you louder. If other people are having trouble hearing you, you can change your microphone input level. As you can see, mine looks fine here, and Zoom will automatically adjust that for you. but you can uncheck that automatic, and I can increase this. I don't want to speak too loud. I don't want to blow anybody out of their seats. So I'm going to go back to automatic. But you can adjust how well other people hear you as well. But this should be the output level is the thing that should govern how well you hear what's going on. Though, unfortunately, in any sound system, there may be more than one volume control. Like you may have a volume control in software like this, which governs how loud your computer plays back sound. But your speakers could also have a physical volume control on them, depending on the nature of the speakers. And in that event, if that's turned way down, no matter how high you turn this up, you may still not hear well. So you have to find all of the volume controls in your system and make sure they're all turned up to a reasonable level. And that, quite frankly, is one of the greatest challenges in audio-visual production. Video generally is pretty easy. Getting your sound quality and levels set where you want them can be fairly challenging. So that's something I might be able to help with individually on a one-to-one Zoom meeting. But yeah, you pretty much, given that I can verify that my input sensitivity is set appropriately here, you may want to, you may have to check with or deal with your output settings on your computer. You can also always test your speakers and microphones in Zoom by going to that same menu just to the right, the little up caret just to the right of the mute button, and selecting Test Speaker and Microphone. It plays some sound for you. If you hear that, you say yes. Check, check. And if you hear that come back to you, your microphone's working properly. So there you can, that can help, and that can help you identify a problem, at least, if not correct it. Okay.
Okay.
Lots of good questions.
Hey, Dave, I just wanted to put my little input in.
Please.
I had Zoom without being in conference, and I could not connect that through Canvas. So basically,
Right.
I had to add email to my personal to forward to the students. So anybody that wants to communicate with their students through Canvas Zoom, you have to have conference Zoom.
Right. You can't use the Confer Zoom app in the course menu in Canvas unless A, you have a Confer Zoom account, and B, you in Canvas, you have your district email address set as your primary email address in Canvas. And in PeopleSoft, it turns out that you got to have your EDU email address selected as your primary email address, professional email address, in both PeopleSoft and in Canvas. You can change your preferred email address in PeopleSoft using your portal, your PeopleSoft portal. In Canvas, you have to go to your account button in the global access menu on the left here and go to settings in your account menu. And over here on the right is your email address area. And you have to make sure that your district email address is set as your primary and is here. Otherwise, the Confer Zoom app will not work. That doesn't mean you can't use Zoom with Canvas. It just means you can't use that app. There are lots of, you can dispense entirely with that Confer Zoom app in Canvas if you so choose, and do everything through the basic Zoom tools that are built into the website and into Canvas. The Confer Zoom app is a convenience, but not an essential. And there's one reason why, the main reason I don't use that, and I don't use the Confer Zoom app, and the main reason is that I have to have my district email address as my primary email address in Canvas. And Canvas can be a chatty little bugger. It can send you a lot of email, notifications. If you choose, every time a student sends a message to you in Canvas, you can have that message forwarded to your personal email. If you have your district email set as the primary, you're liable to get a lot of email in your district email and get mixed in with all the district spam. And of course, you have limited mail storage in your district account. So I don't like to use my district account with Canvas. I like to use a personal account that I created specifically for use with Canvas, so that all my communications from students or from you all, and from Canvas itself go into a separate account where they don't get mixed in with a bunch of other stuff where I might miss them. But that means I can't use the Confer Zoom app in my Canvas courses. So it's a trade-off. But that's obviously a personal decision. But there's nothing you can do in that Confer Zoom app that you can't do without it. Another issue with the Confer Zoom app is that when you run meetings, Zoom meetings, through the Confer Zoom app in Canvas, they are automatically created in such a way that your Zoom link, your Zoom join link, and your meeting ID are different for each successive meeting. And that's not a big deal as long as your students access your meetings through the Confer Zoom app. Confer Zoom keeps track of that for you. But if your students like click on an old link or something like that, they're going to end up in a different Zoom room than you are. And that does happen with some regularity, particularly early on in using Zoom. And I don't ever want anybody not to be able to get into a Zoom session like this because of that artificial requirement superimposed by the folks at Confer Zoom. It's a security measure. It makes it a little bit less likely that you're going to be Zoom bombed. That is, if somebody try to disrupt one of your meetings. But it also makes it more complicated for your students to access, or limits the ways that your students can access your meetings, and makes it more likely that they're going to end up in the wrong meeting and miss class. And to me, that's a much greater worry than maybe having somebody try to disrupt one of my meetings. I have done thousands of Zoom meetings over the years, and I have been Zoom bombed exactly once. And I was able to kick the miscreant out of the meeting within about 30 seconds before they had a chance to really do anything. And once you kick them out, they can't come back into the same meeting. And that, indeed, one of those, or a couple of those tutorials I showed you a minute ago, the last two, as a matter of fact, deal with dealing with disruptions in your meetings, diffusing a Zoom bombing, or getting rid of a phantom illustrator, somebody drawing nasty pictures on a shared screen. Those things are very easy to deal with. And, so what I do is I use my personal meeting ID in Zoom, my personal meeting room, whose access information never changes. That's why that link to these meetings that Mary Kingsley sends out every week never changes. And those links go out to everybody in the district. And I'm sure they get shared around and so on. And I never have any trouble with it. And I also very rarely have anybody tell me that they couldn't get into a meeting because they didn't have the right link. So it's a philosophical thing. I'd rather take the chance on a Zoom bombing than have somebody miss a meeting because they used an old link. A link to last week's meeting, you know, it's the same as this week's meeting as long as you use your personal meeting ID. So there's more detail on that in this tutorial on starting a Zoom meeting. And it shows the details of how to use your personal meeting ID and so on. I will tell you that if you are going to have someone being disruptive in a class meeting on Zoom, it's almost certainly going to be one of your students who's going to have the link to it anyway. So the chances of you having some random ISIS Zoom bomber drop into your meeting, your class meeting, is very, 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 very low. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time worrying about it. Okay, I think I went off on a tangent there. How about another question? Did I answer the original question? Yes, April, just speak up. We're very informal now.
I'm asking this question on behalf of a very happy faculty member who passed her certification program, and she had 2 of her discussion compositions returned to her for corrections. And here's her question. She changed them, she's happy, but she was given a week, and she was told by some other people that she would have 2 weeks. Could you get some clarity on that to us? So when you're all finished, because it takes them a long time to correct, are they giving us 1 week or 2 to correct any errors that prevent us from passing?
I'm not sure. It may vary depending on who the grader is. I would certainly try to get it done as quickly as I possibly could. You certainly won't have less than a week.
Okay.
So I'd assume 1 week.
Thank you.
You bet. That's not something I have control over.
Hi, Dave. My name is Paula. I have 2 questions.
Very good. Welcome.
Thank you. Also, just side note, I met you many, many years ago with Hank Beaver. He first introduced me to you. So it was a great meeting. Here are my 2 questions. The first is, I just want to be sure, when we're doing the training, you mentioned we'll also have a developmental shell. I want to make sure I understood correctly that we'll be doing some activities or doing assignments in that developmental shell specifically for the training. So that was my first question, just to clarify. And then my second.
That is correct. That is correct. You will be doing things in that D shell, development shell, they call it, or practice. We used to just call it a practice course. So the terminology has gotten a little loose. But yes, that is the shell in which you will be doing a lot of your work on the assessments.
And it just says developmental shell, right? I was looking at my.
It's normally named D-shell dash and then your first initial and last name.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. And then my other question is, let's say I have a class that I taught a year ago in the fall. Mm-hmm. So yes, a year ago, fall 2019. Will those classes remain on my dashboard in Canvas, or are they at some point taken off?
At some point they will disappear from your dashboard, but you will still have access to them. Your dashboard is just one of the places you can see your courses. Just below, yeah, I am sharing my screen. Okay, just below the dashboard link in the global access menu here is a courses link. And that shows all of the courses that you have ever been enrolled in whatever role. Especially if you go to the all courses link at the very bottom of it, you'll see every course that you ever were enrolled in here, including courses that are concluded or that are in the future, coming up in the future.
Okay.
You can also manage your dashboard from this display, from the all courses list. You see the little stars over here on the left?
Uh-huh.
Some are lit up in orange and others are not. The ones that are lit up in orange are appearing on your dashboard.
Oh.
So you can change that just by, if I don't want this Canvas transition course on my dashboard anymore, I can just undo that and that'll disappear from my dashboard.
Uh-huh.
And I can add others, like if I wanted this one back on the dashboard, I can click it and light it up again. So this is how you determine what appears on your dashboard.
Got it. That's actually really helpful. Thank you.
Oh, good, good. You can also rearrange things on your dashboard by just clicking and dragging them.
Oh.
That's nice too. So you can keep the things that you're currently using frequently up at the top and move other stuff down. So you have a lot of control over your dashboard here. You know, the dashboard also distinguishes between courses that are published, that is currently available to students, and those which are not, unpublished courses.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I really need to go in and clean up my dashboard. I'll get to that right after I pair up all my socks.
Dave, may I ask one last question?
Please.
And thank you. And also, I noticed a question came in on the chat that you might want to look in that kind of tied in with what I was just asking. My question is,
yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, my question is, and you probably already addressed this, but when when I have, let's say I have my class from spring, and I just, if I wanted, let's just say, to copy it over and use it this semester, is it better to copy it into my development shell for this semester, or just copy it straight into the final course for this semester?
Oh gosh, well, that's really kind of a personal decision there. Either one would work. If you copy it into the live shell too early, there's a possibility you might have to copy it again. It's really safer to work in the development shell until about a week before the beginning of the term, because you don't know what may happen in PeopleSoft that you and we have no control over. So our advice to you is to work in your development shell as long as you can, or till a week or so before the beginning of the next term. You can always, in your development shell, if you want to start over fresh, let's say you have a development shell for English 101, just picking something out of the air, and you want to refresh that with content from your last semester's course where you made some changes and updated things, and you want to replace what's in your development shell with that new stuff, you can go to your shell, your development shell, go to the settings menu, and use a very dangerous tool called Reset Course Content. Before you use this tool, make sure you want to do this and that you are in the right shell, because this is irretrievable. If you click on reset course content, are you sure you want to do this? And there's a big red button you have to click on, and that will clean your course out from end to end. It will convert this into a blank shell. And then you can copy the content from your last semester's course into here and have an exact copy of that course, sans the students and their submissions and their grades. Only the content is copied, not the students and their work. But you can do this at any time. Just be very careful that you're in the right shell and that you really want to, that there's not anything in that development shell or whatever shell you're resetting that you want to keep, because it's gone and we can't get it back. So you want to be careful using that tool, but you can do that.
Okay.
Is everybody comfortable with the copy process of copying content from one shell to another?
No, how do we do that?
All right. Let's say I've got a blank shell, or I've got a new live shell that I want to copy content in from a previous shell. Let's say this is the new shell. I don't care about this one. There's nothing in particular I need to worry about in here. To copy content from my development shell or from a previous live shell, that's up to you. I start in the blank shell, in the new shell, the one I want to copy into, the destination shell. So I go into in that course, I go into the settings link in the course menu, usually at the bottom of the course menu. And that takes me to what's called the course details page, where I can see information about the course and change some things and so on. But over on the right is a task menu where I can do a bunch of stuff, including import course content. You won't see copy this course. That's something we don't give to you. You will see import course content.
Okay.
So that's where you start. You start off by telling Canvas what kind of content you want to import. And there's a menu from which you select. If you're copying content from one of your courses on our Canvas system, which is what you would normally be doing, you select Copy a Canvas Course. Canvas then asks you, okay, which course do you want to copy? Where's the content now? What's the source that you want to copy from? And you type the first few letters of the name of the course.
Or the CRN?
You could put the CRN in, that'll work. But it could be any part of the course name.
Okay.
And when you do that, Canvas will give you maybe a limited list of courses that might meet that search. In this case, just one. And you select the course.
Could you write developmental shell there also?
You can try anything and see if Canvas finds it.
Okay.
I've got a bunch.
Oh, okay.
So that doesn't work too well for
me.
Okay. But you can try anything and just hope that it gives you the right course. You keep trying until you get the right course. Select the right course that you want to copy from. Then decide whether you want all of the content from that course or just some of it. All content or specific selected content. If you're copying from your development shell into your live shell, you're almost certainly copying everything, all content. Then you hit import.
Hmm.
I don't recommend adjusting events and due dates. You're liable to end up with a mess.
Okay.
So I just select the course I want to copy from, whether I want all the content or some of it. If I select some of it, it'll give me an option to select what I want. But usually you're just copying all the content. Then you just click the import button and you're done.
Hmm.
Your effort is, 30 seconds after you do it once.
Okay,
It takes you
great.
30
Thank
seconds
you.
to do it the next time. The process may take a little while depending on the size of the course, but Canvas you can just leave now and come back later and it'll be done. Or you can wait for it and watch the little blue bar go across the screen, and eventually Canvas will say completed. Okay, the copy's taken place. There was one issue. You can click on that link and see what that issue was. Missing links in an announcement. I don't care about that. Usually you won't care about these minor issues here. So now if I go home, now I have a full-blown course in here that from another course shell that I use for demonstration purposes a lot of the time. Somebody was interested in zucchini growing in our video course we did the other day. So anyway, that's all there is to copying your development shell contents into your live shell when you're ready to go. I mean, it takes literally 30 seconds of your time.
Dave, how do the students know how to get into their Canvas? Does Campus Solution send them an email notification or?
They do get an email, yes, if they're in a fully online course, which basically all of our courses are going to be for fall. So they should get an email from people.
Okay, well, mine is kind of I don't know if it's a hybrid or we're going to have a few lab days.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how they're going to code those in PeopleSoft. And that governs whether the students get an automatic email message or not. And that's a good question that I don't have an answer to. But normally in an online course, students do get an email.
Okay.
But I wouldn't necessarily, in your case, I wouldn't necessarily depend on that.
So how am I going to, so I need to email them maybe how to get into Canvas?
Yeah, I would probably send them some information by messaging in Canvas. You can use your, email list that you get in your roster in the portal.
Yes.
And you can send them the information they need. It sure wouldn't hurt, even if they've gotten the email from the district, wouldn't hurt to follow up with them because we all miss emails sometimes. So there's no such thing as too much communication in an online course.
So what would that email look like?
I would probably just tell them where to find Canvas at sdccd.instructure.com, right there.
Oh, okay.
And when they get to the Canvas login page, let me log out here a second so you can see that.
Oh, okay, thanks.
When they get to sdccd.instructure.com, they're given the information they need to log in.
Oh, okay.
Right on the login page.
Okay, so I need to tell them sdccdinstructure.com/login?
No, just the this is all they need.
Oh, okay.
Just that much.
Wow, because I've never seen that before on my screen.
It's just the login. This is the login screen for Canvas that everybody
I've never
gets.
seen instructions for that before on my screen.
You mean like this down here?
Yeah.
Well, depending on your screen resolution, it might be down below what you're seeing. But no, that's been on there for a while. That's been on there for a while.
I'll try looking for that. Wow, okay.
And yeah, we had a lot of this trying to cut down questions and people having trouble. Otherwise, we got support tickets that don't have to be.
Yeah.
Occasionally, students will still have questions anyway, but there are their hotline numbers right there too, so they have somebody to call in
Call
case they
them.
are having trouble. So yeah, exactly. Now there are other information you might want to provide your students with, like their basic student introductions to Canvas that you can provide them. There's one in the Canvas video guides, for instance. If we go to the help button in Canvas, there's just a sometimes it's an overwhelming amount of help in here.
Ooh,
but the Canvas guide, the Canvas guides are the manual for Canvas. And there are guides for both instructors and students, and for administrators for that matter. But the students can go to the student guides, or they can just go to the Getting Started button here.
Oh, maybe this is something I'm going to show them on the first day.
Yeah.
On Zoom.
That's a really good idea.
Okay, thank you.
You can even record this like I'm doing right now, right?
Oh, okay.
And put a link to your recording right at the top, either in your Canvas homepage or right at the top of your first module. So click this and figure out how to use Canvas. And here's these are basics. This is actually not so much directed at students, come to think of it. So
that way, going back, was that under settings?
That is under help.
Oh, help. Thank you.
In the gray menu on the left.
Oh, yeah. And then
is
search
visible.
for Canvas guide.
Search
Okay,
the
thank
Canvas
you.
guides.
All right.
And student. And then there's just tons of them, including an introduction. How do I sign up for it? Well, that's not so useful. There is a good video that's a student.
Oh, let's just give them that. I mean, if they look at that page, then they say, forget it.
How to get started with, how to get started with Canvas.
Oh, okay.
And that is unfortunately not as obvious as it once was.
Could they put that in the search thing, or?
Yes. Yeah, they can search, indeed.
Okay.
But let me find that for you so you could provide that to them. For that.
Oh, thank you.
And let's see, guides video. This used to be much more prominently featured. But these are Canvas videos created by Instructure for Canvas.
Okay.
And there are some intended for students, like how to submit an assignment, things like that. But there's a general one. Let's see. And I don't know why they don't feature this more. Let's see. Canvas overview for students. If I click on that, here's the Canvas overview for students. It is like, how long is it? Just a hair over
right there,
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. So this, but it's packed with information. And
Okay.
here's the link.
Oh, great. Okay, so I'm going to find that to put
I'm putting
link.
I'm putting it in the chat tool right now.
Oh, okay. Can I copy that from the chat? And
You
put it
can
in
copy
my-
it from the chat. Here, let me
Okay.
pull that. Here's my chat window. I'm going to say Canvas overview. My mother told me to learn to type. Overview for students. And I'm going to put the URL in there and enter that. You can click on it right from the chat tool and go to it and bookmark it.
Hey,
or you
how
can
come
Yeah,
That's not on my, oh, here it is now. Great, thank you, great.
takes a
Okay.
second for it to come through. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
And you'll be able to, you could just click on that, or you can copy and paste it into a Word document or a text document, or you
Okay,
can
cool.
save the chat log
Oh,
by
how do I do
going
that?
to, if you look down in the
Oh, yeah.
lower, if you're on a
Oh,
computer,
yeah, I see it. I just did it. Thank you. Okay, where's
just
it gonna
click
get saved
more,
to?
and that's the next question. Well, you get this little chat saved show in folder.
Yeah.
If you click on that, it'll open up a
Uh-oh, too late.
either
Okay, I gotta do it again.
a Finder window or a File Explorer window in Windows, and it goes into a folder called Zoom, which is automatically created for you in your
Okay.
default Documents folder, and that Zoom folder has a separate subfolder for every meeting that you have saved the chat log from.
Oh.
And you can tell which one is which because they're dated and timed. Like this is the one from today, 7/7. We started just before 2 o'clock.
Did you? Okay. Oh, documents and then, oh, I see. Then Zoom. Okay.
And then this one. And here's the chat log, meeting saved chat.txt. You just double click it and it comes up. And there's today's chat log so far.
If you have to leave a Zoom meeting and you save it, does it only save until you leave, or can it
Yes.
save?
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, yes. But if it's one of my meetings and you need the chat log, in recording this, I automatically get the full chat log at the end. I can always send you the chat log if you need it. But yeah, I can only record what's happened up to that point in the meeting, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that's great.
All right, did that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
I
So
finally
you've got that,
question.
and I would provide that link to my students early on.
Yeah.
It's really quite a good little video.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bet. Excellent questions.
Dave, quick question.
Please.
I was the one who was asking about the developed shell not showing. And when I went to the all courses, it's there, and it gave me a message that says it's not available yet. So apparently you have to complete certain number of modules before it becomes available?
No. That shell should be available. Somebody
Yeah,
goofed. Somebody goofed when they made it. Sorry.
Okay, because it's showing under all.
Let me fix that. Right now. You do not need to. Can you spell your last name for me?
Lee.
I could have looked at the screen and seen that, couldn't I? Okay, that's going to be a little bit of a problem, probably. Let me see. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of those. Well, no, let's see. Development shell, R. Lee.
Robert Lee.
Robert Lee. That's not you. That's interesting. That course is not showing up. Okay, I tell you what, let me pull this off screen. I'm gonna have to do something that I don't want to share. Let me see, I'm trying to think of how I can do this without asking you something that you don't want to reply on in a public forum that's being recorded. I'm thinking about it. Let me go to courses, to people, to the dashboard. And this is for the 2021 training course.
I've already completed 2 modules.
Great. Congratulations.
The others are grayed out, so that was another issue. I was wondering, is it because I don't have a developed shell?
That should no longer be the case. I'll check on that in a second. Let's get this, let's make sure your practice course is visible. I'm gonna go to the roster and the training course and find you, which is easily enough done. Robert Lee, there you are. All right. You are enrolled in the training course. You're good, obviously. Now let me go looking for your practice course and see what's going on with that.
Does not having that affect what I've done so far?
No, not at all. You really won't need the practice course until you get to module 5.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I don't
it's
want that to bite you at that point in time. So let's make sure it's fixed. And I'm looking right now in your oh, that's not good. The reason you don't see your training course is your practice course rather is it's not there. You don't have one.
It's under all though. It showed under all.
It may be an older. All I'm showing you enrolled in is the certification program training course. And let me look one other place, but that pretty much seems to be the case. And that's a mistake. Nothing you had any control over. When somebody enrolled you, they didn't make you a training course.
Mm.
And I'm going to fix that.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for asking. I'm glad you came today. I'm just excuse me, I'm just investigating right now. Okay, check your courses. I'm just looking in one other place to make sure. Oh, I see what happened. They were supposed to enroll you as the teacher, and they enrolled you as a student.
Uh-oh.
That I can fix, right? And since the course is not published, which it normally would not be, you can't see it, or you can't get into it. You can see a mention of it in your future enrollments, but you can't get into it. So that I can fix. Just a second. And that's just exactly the kind of thing we hope to deal with in this session here. There it is. Yeah, son of a gun. Okay. What am I going to have to do here? There you are, pending enrollment. Edit roll. There we go.
Now I won't have to start over, right? It's gonna just...
Oh, not at all. No. Like I say, this practice course wasn't going to come into play for some time anyway.
Okay.
But we just don't want you to get to that point and need it and not have it.
Great.
All right. You are now the teacher in your practice course. It should be showing on your dashboard, and you'll have it when you need it.
Okay. So let me go. Should it be there now?
It should be there right now.
Dashboard. It should say, what am I looking for?
D-Shell-R Lee is the name of it.
Under published or unpublished?
It is unpublished.
Unpublished. I see it. It's there.
Excellent. It
Great,
doesn't
thank
need to be, well, actually, at some point you will have to publish that course because there's a place where you have to act as your test student. So
Yeah.
you can go ahead and publish it. There's nobody in there but you, so it doesn't matter if it's published or not, really. So
Okay.
you can go ahead and publish that anytime, and it's ready for you to use. Sorry, that was a mistake on our part. So
Glad we got it fixed.
Is
Thank you.
fixed. You bet. My pleasure. Okay.
Dave, Dave,
Yes.
this is Rati Photodar, and I have a
Hi,
question.
Rati.
about-
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I enjoyed the session, and I haven't started the online faculty assessment thing yet, but I was in the process of doing it, and I'm on 1.8 where we have to add in our introduction,
Right.
and I don't know how to do it.
Okay, that's just exactly the kind of question we were hoping for today. Let's go in there, into that course. Yes, I'm sharing my screen, so you should be able to see the training course, right?
Yes.
We'll go to the modules. And I'm in as a teacher, so I can see all the modules initially. That's in case you're wondering
Right.
why everything
So I'm
is showing up.
1.8.
Okay, here's 1.8, the icebreaker. All right, here are the things you're supposed to do.
Right.
Okay. Write a brief introduction and include these things.
Right.
All right, so how do you do that? Well, you've got all these instructions, and it's easy to miss this little button right here that says
Okay.
reply. That's
Uh-huh.
how you post all this information to, you click the word reply, and you get a text box. What you get is called the rich content editor, which is Canvas's content editor that's used over and over again for different things. It's basically like a mini Microsoft Word. And you can type in here and do a lot of other things as well, but this time you'll just have to type. And this is where you put your answer, and then don't forget to hit post reply when you're done. That saves it into the form. This is a discussion forum, like a bulletin board. And you're posting that up on the bulletin board, and the other people who are in the course can see that, so you all know, you can see who you're in there with, and they can see your information. And more importantly, from your standpoint, the people who are grading the course will be able to see your submission and give you credit for it. And that's how these graded discussions will come up at intervals throughout the course, and that's always how you'll participate in.
Okay. And how does that picture appear?
The picture, like this picture,
Right. And yeah.
that is the profile picture for that user in Canvas. And you'll be asked as part of the assignment in the module 1, the second assignment, you'll be asked to upload your profile picture as well.
Okay.
And then that appears automatically in the discussion forums. You don't have to do anything to make that happen, but you do have to upload a picture to your Canvas account so that people can identify you by it. Well, it's an engagement thing. Your students really want to know what you look like.
Okay. So
and remember, in an online course, they're never going to see you live. So here's mine, which is actually a relatively recent picture. A lot of us cheat and use a picture from 10 or 20 years ago. that's between you and your students, okay? We're not here to police that. Or you can use your glam shot or whatever, but to put your profile picture in, which is one of the things you'll be asked to do in the next assignment, you click on the account link in your global access menu, and it brings up your account menu. And probably you'll just have a little silhouette up here for now. You go to the profile link in your account menu, And there'll be a circle up there. And if you mouse over that circle, there's a little pencil in the lower right-hand corner. If you move the mouse cursor over that, you'll see that that's your edit control. Universally, a little pencil icon like that almost always means edit, change something, add something. So if I click on that pencil, I get a screen or a box popping up, which allows me to put in a profile picture in a number of different ways. You can, most commonly, you'll upload a picture you already have on your computer. But if you have a webcam active, you can actually take a picture right then and there. I can't show you that because my webcam is in use in Zoom, and 2 applications can't share a webcam. It's one at a time. So I'm going to upload a picture. I just click upload a picture to select that, and then I do choose a picture. That will open up a File Explorer dialog box or Finder box on the Mac. And you go and you find a picture that you have somewhere on your computer, which you've uploaded, like that one. And click Open. And you get a little highlighted circle if the picture is acceptable to Canvas. There are certain requirements. You may have to try 1 or 2, but it'll accept most things. You can move, this is a crop circle. You can move that around a little bit. You can make it a little bigger, a little smaller by clicking and dragging on the handles here so that the picture fits neatly inside the circle. And then you just click Save. And there's your profile picture.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
So that's where that picture comes from. I'll leave that up there for a little bit, even though it's a copyright violation. I bear at one point in my life, I bore an embarrassing likeness to Alfred E. Newman. So what can I say? We can't all be Brad Pitt. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much.
All righty. How about some more questions?
I think it's Rati again. I think I know the
Hi,
answer to this. In order to see if we have been graded, we just go to the left column where it says grades.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. And you will see a display. You don't see the grade book. You just see your grades listed. The default is to have them listed chronologically, I think, by due date. And you will see your grades there. You'll also see any feedback that has been presented to you. And we always, when we're grading, we always try to leave feedback. That's probably the most important behavior we can model for you in good online pedagogy, is providing feedback to grades.
Where would this feedback appear?
That's a really good question, because it can be a little confusing to find. Let me think. I've got a course I did, where I demonstrated grading. There it is, but that's not the one. Let me see. That's a more recent one, or I need a more recent one. Let me see. Where's my grading course? Oh no, that is the right one. Sorry. Wrong year in my head. Okay, I think I've graded some stuff for my test student in here. Let me see. Here I'm in as the instructor, and this is what, no, I haven't, darn it. I have for test student 1. Let me go in as that student. This is something you can't do. I can go into this course as a particular test student. Okay. All right, here I am as test student 1. There's my profile picture. On the internet, no one knows if you're a dog, as the saying goes. Okay, to see feedback for my grades, I go to grades. And here's my, these are my grades that I've gotten so far. I can, there's 2 things I can do. If I have a little symbol out here in this column, I can click on it. And here I've got some video feedback.
Done from the phone as well?
No. Unfortunately, wasn't much of feedback, but that's how I found it. And here is some text feedback that I've gotten. I can close that. I can also click this link. Oh, I just did that. I'm sorry. I can also click the name of the assignment, which is an active link, as you can see. And that will give me some extra feedback. If I say view feedback here, I get more feedback. Okay, I see some markup feedback that I've provided, that the instructor provided, my other alter ego. And then I see the text feedback as well. So probably the easiest thing to do, just generally, is to click on the name of the assignment, and that will get, and then click view feedback, and you'll be able to see any feedback that was given.
And
we
since
have, please.
Sorry.
Go
Since
ahead.
we have, from the previous discussion, I gather that we have only 1 week to resubmit if we have to do it for a higher grade.
No, that is in the old training course from last year.
Okay.
In the new, this year, you have no time limit on resubmission.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's
Unless you need the, you know, if your dean is saying, well, you got to have that certification by next month, then you have a time limit. But we don't have, you don't have any time limit as far as we're concerned about when you can resubmit, or by when you have to resubmit. You just do it on your schedule. The folks who are in the old training course, the previous year's training course, who are finishing up, we're just getting to some of the grading. Once they get the grade, they have a week to resubmit, at least. But in the moving forward in the new course, you don't have that limit.
And where do we resubmit? The same way?
You submit the same, you resubmit the same way you submitted the first time.
Okay.
But the button, instead of saying submit assignment, will say resubmit assignment.
Okay.
To remind you that you've done it. Okay. And you can resubmit in Canvas as many times as you like. And the instructor can't prevent it. So you, when you get your own courses and you make your own assignments and your students start submitting your assignments, you can't stop them from submitting multiple times. You just get to decide which submissions you will grade. So.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Right.
Thank you so much. I really
You bet.
appreciate it. That was helpful.
My pleasure.
Dave, you're a trooper for being on so long.
Oh, this is nothing. Some of these sessions have gone 5.5 hours.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question, and then I'll sign off after this. But the question actually just came to my mind based on her question. And my question is, the way she asked how to see the feedback, is that the same way on Canvas that our students should be seeing the feedback? I asked it because that was often an issue that came up. They didn't know how to see. Okay, so it's the same. The best way for them is to go to the assignment itself and then to click the button that says.
They go to their grades tool.
Okay.
And then they click on the name of the assignment. Oh, oops,
Okay.
I'm not the student anymore. Sorry. But we do have a tutorial for that.
Aha.
And I am pulling it up here. There we go. This one's a little bit, requires a little searching. Student grades. If you search for student grades in the search box on the on-demand site, just press enter. Here's how to check your student grades in Canvas. And it basically just, it's a recording, a screen recording of basically the same thing I just showed you. It's a little bit better organized because I was doing it not in the middle of a live meeting. But I'll put that link in the chat tool.
And the student, for them to go to student grades, does that mean that I myself on Canvas have first set up the grade, what is the word? That I myself have set up how grades are?
Well, you would have to set up your assessments, which
Okay.
are quizzes or homework assignments or graded discussions. You would create those. A column automatically goes into your grade book for those. And an entry for each of those automatically shows up in the student's grades tool.
Okay.
When then you have to, of course, the students have to submit their work and you grade it, and the grades automatically appear in your grade book and in the student's grades list. So that's kind of the process that you go through.
Correct. I
And-
guess what I'm thinking, and I need to also create, for example, if I want quizzes are worth a certain percentage and a presentation is worth a certain percentage.
Right.
Where am I
Grade weighting.
going? Yeah, where am I going to set that up while I'm organizing my class, as I'm preparing my class?
Okay, well that's a very good question. It is one that we cover at some length in the grading seminar that we do.
Okay.
But I will try to answer it quickly for you. But first, let me put this link to this student grades thing in the chat tool. Yes, I know you all can see this. I drug it over deliberately for that. This is checking students grade view. Okay, there's that the link to that tutorial. That's something you can share with your students if you like.
Beautiful.
Okay, now, okay, please, can you rephrase that question for me so I'm sure I don't go off on a tangent here?
Sure. So the question is, I need to learn so let me backtrack. On Blackboard, I had everything organized in terms of the distribution of grades. So quizzes would be a certain
Right.
percentage and homework is a certain percentage. I've actually never, I'm embarrassed to say, done that in Canvas. So I understand how to assign, how to create an assignment and have the students do it. But then I need to have it linked into that step I've done before of saying, okay, that assignment will be worth a certain amount and this quiz is worth a certain amount. So at the end of the semester, it calculates their final grade for me.
Right. Okay, there's a couple of different ways you can do that in Canvas, and it basically mirrors the options you had in Blackboard. They're essentially the same. When you create an assessment, you assign it a number of possible points.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to weight it. One assignment might have twice as many points possible as another, so it's weighted double.
Mm-hmm.
When, by default, the way Canvas computes final grades is that it just takes the points earned by each student and adds all those up. Then it takes the points possible for every assessment and adds all those up, divides the points possible into the points earned, and multiplies by 100. Simple percentage. That is conceptually very simple, and it will work. But it means you have to spend a lot of time agonizing about, well, how much is this assignment worth relative to all these other assignments that I've given.
Right.
You can also do, as you could in Blackboard, say, do things like say, okay, here I've got 4 tests, and they're all worth the same weight. You know, they all have the same weight, and I want them to collectively constitute, say, 30% of the grade. And then I have some other assignments that maybe that are equally weighted that constitute another 50% of the grade, and so on. You could do that in Blackboard by setting up what are called grade categories.
Mm-hmm.
And you could weight each of the grade categories by percentage.
Right.
You can do the same thing in Canvas.
Aha. Okay.
It's done a little different. Well, the screens look a little different, but it's the same basic process. Let me pull up a course where I've got that set up. Come on. Okie dokie. Let's see. This one will do. Your grade categories that you used to have in Blackboard in Canvas are called assignment groups. Grade category Blackboard, assignment group in Canvas, same thing. To create your grade categories or your assignment groups in Canvas, you go to the Assignments tool in the course menu. The Assignments tool and this Assignments link in Canvas is quite a bit different than the one you had in Blackboard. This is a tool. It's a place where all of the assessments that you create, be they quizzes, homework assignments, or graded discussions, all appear here automatically. And by default, they just all appear in one group. But you can create multiple assignment groups. And you can subdivide your assessments to any level of granularity you like. For instance, what I've done in this course is a fairly simple course. So I've got homework assignments, tests, and graded discussions, each in their own assignment group. I could have more assignment groups than that, certainly. I might have them divided differently, or have the assignments assorted between them differently. It's easy to create assignment groups. You just use this button right here and you just give it a name. And you can move assessments, which again automatically appear here, from one assignment group to another just by dragging them around. So I can move assignments from group to group very easily. Once I've assorted, and all of the, if I'm going to do this weighting by group, all of the assessments within an assignment group are weighted equally. If you want, like if you have some homework assignments that are worth more than others, you can create more than one assignment group for homework assignments. You could have weightier ones in one and the less weighty in another, and so on.
Right.
You can have as many assignment groups as you like. But once you get this structure set up, and once you have all of your assessments distributed properly among assignment groups, you can go to this little unmarked menu button up here in the upper right on your assignments tool. And you can click on Assignment Groups Weight. And initially you'll see this. You'll see an option to weight final grade based on assignment groups. If you check that, it shows you each of the assignment groups you have created, and it allows you to enter your assignment group weight. I've decided that my homework assignments are worth half the grade, my tests are worth 40%, and my discussion is worth 10%. But I can set these to anything I like as long as they add up to 100%. Once I have that set, I just save it. Now, Canvas does all the arithmetic for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it will weight the assignment groups automatically, doing weighted average calculations. And each assignment or each assessment within an assignment group will have an equal weight to all the other assessments within that assignment group. But that assignment group as a whole will have a certain percentage weight in the class. So this takes a little more setting up, but it's a lot simpler in the long run, really. It sounds like what you want. So you just have to decide how many assignment groups you need and what the relative weights of the groups are and how you're going to assort your assessments between them. And once you do that, you just set those assignment group weights, and Canvas does all the arithmetic.
Right, which is how I had set it up, in fact, in Blackboard by having those categories.
So this is essentially grade categories in Blackboard. Same thing. It's just a different set of screens.
Correct, because otherwise, if I were not to do that, then it would be that I would be placing assignments that would have point value, and then at the end of the semester, Canvas would say, okay, there were a total of 1,000 points. The student did 900 points.
Right, right.
So if I may,
that's an option too. It's just up to you.
so what, and I realize we're down to a few people, but I am now taking the time.
Oh, don't worry. Like I say, I've been online far longer than this.
Thank you, Dave. What is, and I open this up for anyone too, what is your opinion, Dave, in terms of an accuracy, or what seems to be better in terms of a final grade? If you have any feel of points are better, or percentages are better, or really ultimately it's the same, it's just important that the instructor.
Ultimately, it's basically the same, though that you won't necessarily get exactly the same grade, but by and large, it doesn't matter which way you do it. It's just that the type of setup that you have to do is a little different for you in each case. I'm very much in favor of doing the assignment group weights. Because once I have set that up, I don't have to worry about like the number of possible points on a test. I can give, like if I have 3 chapter tests, they don't all have to have 50 points. One could have 40, another 35, another 60, but they're still going to be weighted the same in the final grade. Canvas will just determine what percentage of the points the student got on each test, and then average the percentages together. And then use a weighted average to calculate the impact that has on the overall final grade. And I don't have to worry about any of that. And I don't have to worry about the exact number of points I choose for each assessment. It can be anything. There's anything that's convenient for you when you're grading it. Like if you have an assignment, say a homework assignment that has 3 equally important parts, and you want to make it easy for you to grade, you could give out each part like 5 points and the total 15 points, just to make it easier to grade. And in the final analysis, the total possible points for that assignment don't matter if you have your assignment group weights set up, because Canvas will just do everything by percentages. And it's especially better with tests in Canvas, because let's say if you're just weighting things by individual assessment possible points, then you have to make your tests come out to a certain number of points each time, which means you're constrained in the number of questions you can put in, or you may have to have fractional point values for each question, which just confuses the living daylights out of students. With Canvas, it doesn't matter how many possible points there are on the test. If you have the test weighted as part of an assignment group, Canvas does all the arithmetic there and rationalizes all that and makes sure that that test is weighted properly in the final calculation. So I like doing it this way, but that's just me. Some people just like to add up the total possible points and set a cutoff and say, well, you know, if you got 180 points out of 200, then you've got an A, or higher, you've got an A, and just do the cutoffs that way. It's purely a matter of personal preference, and I don't think one way is inherently better than another. I just think that some are easier for you, and I think this is the easiest way for you.
Okay. Okay, that's right. It's consistent with what I have been doing too. So there's
and it's consistent with what you've done in the past. So your whole course is built around that.
Correct.
So that's probably be a good thing.
On the point, I'm just curious, when one does it on the points in Blackboard, on Canvas, can it vary from one semester to another?
Oh, sure.
It can. Okay.
Of course.
Just curious.
That's up to you. That's up to you. That is your decision.
Okay. Dave, I want to thank you. I'm probably going to sign off. Thank you so much.
Okay. My pleasure. Enjoy.
Thank you. Have a good week.
You too.
Thanks.
Okay, anybody else? Got anything? Oh, darn. I see a couple in the chat tool that I did not get to. I may record the answers to those before I sign off, so that people can come back and see them in the recording. But does anybody else have anything they'd like to ask before I do that? Remember, you have to unmute yourself. Okay, not hearing anything else. I'm going to go back and make sure I haven't missed anything in the chat tool here. I'm having to go back a ways. Darn, wish I'd seen these earlier. Okay, I'll start about there. How can we back up our materials in our shell? You can back up the content in a course shell by going to Settings, Export Course Content, and clicking, make sure course is selected as the export type, and click Create Export. Canvas will make a zip file that contains your course materials. Depending on the size of the course, it can take anything from a few seconds to a couple hours, but you can just come back to this later and look for it, and you'll see a link called New Export. You just click on that link, and you get an IMSCC file, which is a different kind of compressed file, which you can then save to an appropriate place on your hard drive. Yes. And then if you ever need that content again, you can go back to in a blank shell and you want to bring that content back in, you can go to Settings, Import Course Content, and import a Canvas course export package, which is what you just created. Just choose the file, find it on your hard drive, which is probably the hard part. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. That's it. And click open. That tells Canvas which file to use. You can do all or selected content and then just click import, and that will bring that content back in. When you back up your course, you back up only the content in the course, not the student work, grades, submissions. Those are backed up on Canvas, and Canvas, to my knowledge, has never lost one that kind of material, but unless it's been deliberately deleted by the faculty member. But this is how you can back up your content offline. I've heard that if you have multiple sections of the same class, that you can merge information so that any changes you make can go to all sections. Not exactly. What you can do is merge enrollments in that circumstance. If you have multiple sections of the same course in a semester, you'll get a separate Canvas shell, automatically get a separate Canvas shell for each section. But you can merge enrollments in those sections so that you only have, so that all of your students are enrolled in a single Canvas shell, and you'll just have one Canvas shell to manage. You do that by going to your Help button in Canvas and going to your faculty support hotline and requesting that those courses be merged. You don't have the tools to do that, the access to the tools to do that yourself, since it's a process that can be, it's a little opaque. And if you do it the wrong way, you can mess things up. So we like to have the Canvas help support people do that for you. You just indicate to them which courses you want merged, and they'll merge them for you and then show you how to use that. And you may do that. There's no restrictions on that anymore. What's the official name that should appear on the practice tile we will be using in this course? It will be named D-shell- and then your first initial and complete last name. And that should distinguish it from any other development shells that you have. And are we allowed to use assignments we have created in our classes? I guess the question is, can you use those in your training course? And the answer is certainly, of course. What is the Canvas support number? The Canvas support number is always available under Help in Canvas. And we also, both for students and faculty, there are two separate hotlines, one for students, one for faculty. We also have that information on the Canvas login page, and it's always available there. So if someone can't get into Canvas, they can still get to the help numbers for faculty and students. Will this video be available for us to review at a later date? You betcha. It will be on our on-demand video site at sdccdolvid.org, and it will be under Workshop Archives. And they are listed in chronological order, so the most recent ones will show up first. So this one would initially show up in first position. It'd be a while before it rolls off to the to other pages. Okay, we dealt with that one. Okay. I think I addressed that. To get YouTube to caption, you need to upload the Zoom video without captions, right? No, it doesn't matter whether there were captions in your Zoom video or not. If you upload a video to YouTube, YouTube will caption it fresh. Doesn't matter. When yours, this may have, I'm trying to read between the lines on this one. If you upload a video to your Zoom cloud, that is, do a Zoom cloud recording, the Zoom cloud will automatically create the captions. If you download that video and upload it then to YouTube, if you download the video from the Zoom cloud and then upload it back to YouTube, the only thing that uploads to YouTube is the video with the audio, but no captions. So YouTube will recreate the captions automatically. YouTube does a terrible job for Japanese. I don't remember whether Japanese is one of the languages in which YouTube can do automatic captions. Let me check that. YouTube automatic captions languages. Automatic captions are available in English, Dutch, French, German, Italian, and Japanese. So it is one. I can't address, the quality of those Japanese captions. I do know that in some other languages that I've had feedback on that it does quite well. But it's interesting to hear that the Japanese. But you do, if you want the captions in Japanese, you do have to set your language for that video to Japanese. And you would do that right after you uploaded your video to YouTube. You would go to the video list, your video list in YouTube Studio. Let me back out, get to that. Show you how to get to that. If you're logged into YouTube as yourself, you click on the little, either your initial or your profile image up in the upper right, and you go to YouTube Studio. Your video list is over here on the left under videos. You click that. And if you've just uploaded a video to YouTube and it hasn't been captioned yet, it'll be at the top of this list. If you click on the icon for that video, you go to the video details page. And let's see. The language options are bingo. You go to more options under video details, and it's right here, original video language. So you have to tell YouTube what the language is if it's not your channel default, which is normally English. And here's where you can set the default language for this video. And you just drop it down to Japanese. Then YouTube will know that it's in Japanese and will apply its Japanese algorithms to it. But if you just leave this video language at default at English and you speak Japanese, YouTube will not be able to automatically caption the video. So right after you upload it, you have to set the video language if it's something other than your channel default, which is usually English. Hope that helps. Zoom meeting recordings are eventually deleted from the Zoom recordings list. Well, they will be once sooner or later. Your storage space on the Zoom cloud will fill up, and you'll start losing. Things will start rolling off for you. Does that also apply to Zoom recordings that were uploaded to Canvas? Well, normally you don't upload videos to Canvas. You just put a link to them into Canvas. And yes, if you've linked to a video in the Zoom cloud that in Canvas, if that video is deleted from the Zoom cloud, then that it will no longer play in Canvas. And you do have a limited amount of space, 1 gigabyte of storage space in the Zoom cloud for your Confer Zoom accounts. And sooner or later, you will fill that up. So what can you do? Well, before that happens, you can download those videos to your local hard drive and then upload them into YouTube, where there are no storage limits. That's one option anyway. YouTube is one good place to put them. And we do have a tutorial for that. Excuse me. If you go to our on-demand video site at sdccdolvid.org and just search for Zoom recordings, you could probably find it you can find it otherwise as well. You can just search for all the Zoom recordings. But it's a little quicker if you give a little more detail, Zoom recordings. Here's a tutorial on how to move your Zoom recordings from the Zoom cloud to YouTube. And we'll walk you through the process step by step. It's not difficult, but it does require a little knowledge, and there's the knowledge. Ah, somebody got a Confer Zoom account almost immediately. Excellent. Can I get 2 accounts on Zoom, I assume? One for my school and another is for personal. You can only get 1 Confer Zoom account per school because it's keyed to your school email account. You could create a free Zoom account at zoom.us. Let me log out here so you'll see what oops, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry. Yeah. You can, let me get out of my account here. Sign out, yeah. You can go to Zoom and create a free Zoom account just by clicking sign up. That account has some limitations. I think you can only have 100 attendees. Your meetings can only be 40 minutes long, though you can just start another meeting, go another 40 minutes. And you can't record to the Zoom cloud in a free Zoom account. You have to record to your local computer and then upload to YouTube or something. But by and large, the free Zoom accounts are quite functional, and you can make yourself a personal one of those. I have one. Actually, I have more than one. Free personal account. Or you can buy a personal paid account if you like by just going to plans and pricing, and this is the one that most people use, and it's $15 a month if you pay a year at a time. And yes, you can create as many Zoom accounts as you have emails. Somebody else mentioned that. I have 3 or 4 different ones for different emails that I use for different purposes. Will you show us how to create a Zoom app inside of Canvas for the students to access the same personal meeting room each time? Sure. Let me pick a course to do that in that I haven't done it already. Right. This one will probably do. Let me see. No, I've not done that here. I have the Confer Zoom app, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a link to take your students to your personal meeting room in the course menu. You can create that by going to Settings in the course menu. And on the Settings page, going to the Apps tab. Select Installed Apps so you don't have to sort through a gazillion. And the app you want is called the redirect tool. And it's this swooshy blue arrow here. It won't let me exactly show it to you, but there it is. The redirect tool is the one you want. You click on that redirect tool and you click Add App. You rename it something like My Zoom Meeting Room, or just Zoom, or whatever you like. And then you need the join link for your personal meeting room in Zoom. You get that by going to your Zoom, to zoom.us, not zoom.us pricing, but just zoom.us, to the Zoom homepage. You sign in as yourself using the credentials you got from ConferZoom. You go to your personal meeting room under the meetings link here on the side, which is normally where you're dropped into. You click on personal meeting room here along the top. And here is your invite link. I've customized mine. Yours may just have a number here. That's fine. You copy that to your clipboard. Then you go back to Canvas and you paste that right into here. You will want it at least to show in course navigation, probably in account navigation as well. And then add the app. That will create a new entry in your course menu that you'll see when you refresh the page. And there it is, My Zoom Meeting Room. Now, when you or your students click on that link, they'll be taken to your, it has to automatically open in a new tab. So they click that open a new tab, they'll be sent to your personal meeting room. And all they have to do is open Zoom meetings to make that happen. So that's how you create a link in your Canvas course menu to your personal meeting room in Zoom. Let's see. I think that's all of them, but I'll make sure. That appears to be it. Okay, anybody coming back now to this meeting recording will see those questions answered. I see I've still got a couple of people with me. Anybody have anything else? If not, then remember you can unmute yourself and speak. The mute button's in the lower left-hand corner if you move your mouse over the screen. Not hearing any further questions, I'll wish you a pleasant evening and let me know when I can be of help.